Hi everybody and welcome to Zeke's Miata channel. I thought today might be a good opportunity to start a conversation about what lies ahead for the Miata, and one of the things that we know is going to happen eventually is that Mazda wants to electrify the Miata. I'm going to include this quote that came from Mazda directly, and they said, Mazda is seeking to electrify the MX-5 Miata in an effort to have all models feature a form of electrification by 2030. We will work hard to make it a lightweight, affordable, open two-seater sports car in order to meet the needs of the customers. At an event earlier this year, I asked a bunch of people from our club what they thought about the idea of an electric Miata. Some people were really into the idea.
I'm an early adopter of electric vehicles. We're on our second now on our Bolt and just love the torque and instant acceleration. So yeah, I think it's joining the EV into the Miata would be a dream come true. I'd like to one day swap a EV drivetrain into an NA.
I'm all for it. I'm all for electrification in general, and I think Mazda will execute it well, so we'll see.
I'm all for electric cars, yeah. I think we're going to have our heads in the sand if we don't think that's going to be a reality in the future.
Others were still on the fence and said they wanted to wait and see.
I've driven in a Tesla recently for the first time, and I'm a visceral person, so I wasn't getting the sounds I'm used to. So if they can add the whole sound thing, you know, more power to you. So we'll see. We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah. Well, after watching hybrid Formula One and stuff like that, it'd be, again, what he said about the sound not being there would be a big minus, but the torque, instant torque across the band would be probably really interesting. So I'd be curious how it would drive.
I would have to see it and probably maybe even drive it to see how I feel. I think that would be pretty neat to see.
I don't know. We'll have to wait and see what they come up with. If they follow the Tesla, they'll probably be safe.
That's its $50,000.
Yeah, right. That's true too.
Yeah.
Maybe that'll change as well.
And there was a few people that were just flat out no.
I guess it's inevitable, but I would rather it didn't, you know, I'd rather it stay internal combustion, but I get it.
No, it's an appliance.
Okay.
It doesn't have a heart. It has a motor.
Right.
That's my opinion.
No. I don't want to think about that.
Impossible. I don't think they can put a manual with that.
Yeah. That's what they're planning for the next generation. So.
Well, I guess we'll see how that turns out.
Okay.
See if they can get a manual.
No.
Any reason?
No.
You just don't want electric.
No.
And with the idea of the Miata going electric, there's a lot of hurdles that Mazda is going to have to cover. Like, for example, how do batteries fit into Graham's strategy? I mean, let's face it, they're heavy. How are you going to fit that in a tiny little two-seater sports car and keep the weight down to the low 2,000 pound range? I mean, let's face it, all the jokes about the NC weighing 2,500 pounds, what's batteries going to do to that? And there's also the question, is it going to be hybrid? Is it going to be fully electric? If it's going to be fully electric, what kind of a range is it going to have? I mean, I don't know about anybody else, but for me, if it doesn't have at least like 300 miles of range, that's a non-starter for me. I do a lot of drives in my car. Typical drive is 200 to 300 miles. And if I have to charge in the middle of it, that's going to be an absolutely deal breaker. Another thing they're going to have to reconcile is the manual transmission. Most everybody who buys a Miata wants a manual transmission. And if it goes electric, how are you going to deal with that? I mean, there are small electric cars out there with sticks, like the Honda CR-Z is an example, but it gets terrible gas mileage. If you're going to go to a hybrid, why would you want a hybrid that got like 27 miles to the gallon? That doesn't make any sense. So I want to hear from you guys. What are your thoughts on an electric Miata? What do you think it's going to be? Where do you think it's going to go? And would you buy an electric Miata? Go ahead and post in the comments below and we'll get a discussion started on this. Anyway, that's all I have for today. See you next time.